Bridget Bartlett here with Vision Marketing and Design. And today we are live inside of our team training where we are live Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am I can't talk now. I am so super excited to share with you a new feature that HighLevel just released yesterday. And that is the ability to manage our payments through HighLevel. Now, we've always had the ability to create products and track the transactions and then of course release things when they are ordered. But when you are a software reseller and you have reoccurring payments, you needed to, before, and I've done tons of training on this, you had to use Stripe, then you had to connect it with Pabbly, and then you had to set up the workflows with Pabbly, and then integrate into HighLevel to trigger based on tags. And it was a pretty extensive process if you're not familiar with, using Pabbly and Webhooks and all of that. So HighLevel has actually eliminated all of that for us. And you can see here, in our training and in our program, since we are software resellers, we have additional software in addition to HighLevel. We had to have 3 different workflows. Well, actually 4 workflows, because when they sign up, then there's one workflow, right? But then if the payment fails, that's an additional workflow. But also when payments are made, we had to create a new workflow. And then when payments were canceled, we had to create a new workflow. Okay, so this was really when you have, HighLevel that you're reselling, and then you have the other 4 tools that you're reselling. This is a lot of workflows. This is a lot to manage and keep up with. And so this new feature is going to eliminate all of that. So I can almost hear all of you cheering. I hear angels singing in the background because this is so amazing. This is probably one of my absolute favorite features that they have released, because this is something we've all been waiting for. It's going to make your life so much easier. Okay. Now, of course, to do this from scratch, all you need to do is create a workflow. We're just going to start from scratch here. And then you want to choose your workflow trigger, and it would be payment received. Okay, so if you just type in payment, you'll see payment received. Now, if I was to stop there, every single time a payment comes into this workflow, it would trigger the workflow. Okay, and I could do that. But when you have a workflow and there's lots of moving parts, sometimes that can be overwhelming and confusing. So you may just want to create one workflow for each product. There are so many different ways that you can use this feature that sometimes all of the opportunities and possibilities become overwhelming. And so don't become overwhelmed with it. Just walk through the process. Okay. So we're going to actually choose payment received here. And if I did want to just make this any payment that's received in my whole system, I could just click Save Trigger. Okay. Now, whatever I put here is going to be, and I can build this out and build branches, and I can make it really complex if I want to. But whatever I put here is what I want to happen when a payment is received, okay? So I could go and use one of the if-else options, and then I could choose the payment, the amount, the calendar, the funnel, the payment status, the product, the source, the website. If I chose payment status, I could choose is or is not failed or successful. Okay. So you can see right there that eliminates all of the other workflows that we have, okay? Because we have sales pipelines and we have, different automations, and we have the ability to add notes to the profile, the notes that's really helpful when you're trying to troubleshoot things and you want to see, if this person says, hey, I lost access, you can go into the audit logs, you can go into the history, you can go into the notes section, which is right there in the conversations tab, and you can see if there was a payment failed or if it was successful or when the last time it was successful. So I do love to add notes. Okay. Now I realize that because there are so many opportunities and ways to use this, that it helps, at least I know with my brain, and I definitely get feedback a lot, it helps to see a practical use case. So what I'm going to do now that I've kind of given you an overview of that, I'm going to go ahead and show you an actual practical use case. Okay. So you can see here that all of the different workflows that we had. So like I was saying, the payment made, the payment failed, and then the canceled. Okay, so I'm just going to go into the payment made, and all of these are drafts, okay, because you have to set all of those up on webhooks. Okay, so I'm going to go, I want to go into payment failed. Okay, so these are the actually, yes, this is the one I wanted to show you. Now for L Messenger, okay, just to use this as an example, this was the previous workflow, okay? So we had to use, we had to connect Stripe, and then when a payment failed in Stripe, then it would go to Pabbly using a webhook, and then it would go to Lead Connector / HighLevel. That's their like gray label of HighLevel. So it would go to Lead Connector, and then it would tag the contact, and then it would come into the workflow and then trigger this workflow, okay? So that's how it was previously done. Now, if I go into this workflow that I just created, because I was playing around in here, and like I said, this was just released yesterday. So I will definitely be updating our snapshot so that all of you guys will have, the most up-to-date workflows. But again, I wanted to try all of this out, figure out the absolute best way to position all of this before I update that, so that you guys aren't constantly having to update. You can just let me do all the troubleshooting for you. Okay, so our first step here, and you can see this is combined here. Okay, so now we have successful and failed payments. Now, remember, you can use Stripe and create a customer billing portal. It's literally no work. You just go into the settings, go to customer portal, and you grab the link. Okay, you can even set it. There's different settings there. But the trigger here is going to be the payments received, just like I showed you before. Now here, to make it simple, we're just going to choose the filter of the global product, which is Elmatic Pro. Okay, so this is the Pro plan of Elmatic. And so what we're doing is anytime there is a payment for Elmatic Pro, a payment event, we are going to, it's going to trigger this workflow. Okay, and then what we're going to do is choose a conditional logic. Okay, so if I click here and you go down, you'll see if else. All right. So that is the step that I'm using here. Now, when you choose that step, you have the ability to create these branches, okay? So you have different branches, and then you have segments within those branches, okay? So in this example, I created a branch for successful payments and failed payments. All right. Now I chose the payment status is success, payment status is failed. Okay, so from there, and then you'll see they always put a none option. So if there is a payment and it's neither successful or failed, it's just going to go to this like little dummy branch here. Now, if someone does create a successful payment, what I want to do is actually just create a note. And that's what I was saying in the beginning about how you can add notes to the profile. And then that way in the conversations tab in their profile, you're looking at the notes and it helps you to troubleshoot, and you can see all of the updates. So when they had a successful payment, when they had a failed payment, and so on. Okay. And of course you can create notes on anything that you want to in an account, but these are two things, especially as a software reseller, that I want to know. So the note that I created here, I just put successful payment for Elmatic Pro. And what's really cool now that we can track these, instead of having to use like custom values and then add the notes into the Pabbly workflow, using like the information that we pulled in from Stripe, now HighLevel just makes that so easy for us, right? Because we can just use this custom value, okay? So if I wanted to, just to get this custom value again, it's going to tell me what the payment total is, okay? So all you have to do is type in whatever you want to, go to custom values, and then you'll see payment now. This is a new option. So you have this ability now to add all of these custom values to any parts of your workflow. You guys, this is so exciting. I just can't tell you how exciting it is. So you can even get as detailed as you want to, like with the subtotal, discount amount, coupon code, tax amount, when it was created, the total amount, transaction ID, all of these things you can now add into any part of your workflow. Okay, so that is just absolutely, I cannot tell you enough. Did I tell you that I love this and how amazed I am and so excited. Okay, so choose the one that you want and the notes that you want. So now when this is, if I'm, if the total of this subscription for Elmatic Pro, let's say it was $79, then it will say successful payment for Elmatic Pro, $79. Okay, now it's not going to pull in. What's really cool, let's say that I have 5 different prices for Elmatic Pro. It's going to pull in whatever price that I had, that this person that triggered the workflow, it's going to pull in whatever price that they were actually paying or what they did pay. Okay, so super, super cool. Okay, so that is what we're going to do for successful payment. You can even, if you want to click here, if you want to maybe trigger a webhook to go someplace else, you want to send them a text message or an email, or maybe do a manual phone call or a ringless voicemail, you could do any of that. You could add them to the affiliate manager. You can do all of these things here. Update the opportunity profile, which is super cool if I wanted to do that. And then what's cool, you can go to the lead value and go into, let's see, contacts. Okay, so I just wondered about this. I actually didn't test this out before. So I guess you can't do the lead value with the payment there. I hope that that's coming, because that would be super, super cool to have that ability. But regardless, so much you can do here. Okay, so this is a successful payment. One of the things that I like to do for successful payments as well is send an email and say, hey, just checking in on you. How's it going with Elmatic Pro? Did you have any questions? Maybe I just did, maybe there's a video or something like that I want to send to people, when they've, whatever, right? So you have all of these opportunities here. Now, if a payment fails, you can see I have 2 conditions here, right? So if a payment fails, what I want to do is remove the tag of Elmatic Pro, okay? So they don't need to have access anymore because I'm removing that tag. I also want to add a note into the profile, payment failed. Now, it will automatically put, when it adds a note, it puts the date and time that the note was added already in there. But of course, you could add any of these custom values that you wanted to populate this note. So I want to leave a note in the profile to say that there was a payment failed in case they contact me about it. And then I want to send them an email and say action required, payment failed. And then here is, it seems your payment method on file declined. You can update your payment method at, and then it will add the billing portal link. That's the custom value there. Okay. So this is the basic workflow now that is replacing all of the other workflows that we had. Now, one of the things that I do need to check on, and this is why I wanted to troubleshoot all of this, I'm not sure if the system will, because typically a payment failed in Stripe is different than a payment canceled in Stripe. And so I didn't see the payment canceled option. So that is something that I want to trial and error and troubleshoot myself. If it is the same trigger for failed and canceled, that's going to be super, super cool. Now, typically Stripe, if someone goes into the account and then they cancel it using your billing portal, when the subscription is over, it will fail that payment because the subscription end, and then it will not recharge. Okay, so that's what I'm hoping is going to happen. But like I said, this was just released yesterday, so I have not had the opportunity to check that. So if you guys are wondering that, definitely stay tuned. I will be happy to share that with you. So this is super exciting. I hope you guys are as excited as I am. Honestly, I feel like it's Christmas. This is super, super cool. And that's really all that I wanted to share with you. It is really that simple. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Go make your vision a reality. Bye. Thank you so much for joining us for today's training. If you have any questions, you can join us for open office hours starting right now at bridgetbartlett.com. It's free and open to everyone, so I'll see you there.